Hey YouTube, Sonda Expeditions here. Thank you for coming to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video about crossing the border into Tijuana, Mexico from San Diego. I've done a lot of solo travel before into Latin America and different parts of the world and even into Mexico, but I've never crossed the border on foot. In fact, I was not planning on doing this trip and I didn't do it alone, thankfully. And I never thought I would ever cross the Mexican border. But actually ended up being a lot better than I thought it would be. And I had a great time. I was only there for one day, but I just thought I would share my experience with you. Alright, so about 2 weeks ago, I signed up for this thing called Airbnb Experiences. And I signed up for it. It cost $80. So the guy who took me, his name was Mercado. He's a retired psychologist. I actually have notes here just in case. And he lives in San Diego, but he does tours, and he's done over like almost 800. Well, he's done 1,200, but he had 800 reviews and 5 stars. So I was like, I was in San Diego and I wanted things to do, and I was there alone for a few weeks. So I was just like, well, let me just cross the border. And I've done a few Airbnb experiences, and because he had such good ratings, I just took the jump. So I signed up 2 days before, and he made me fill out this like form, this border crossing form. It was like 5 minutes, and then I show up the next day. We meet at a cafe, and from the cafe we meet up, and his wife drives us to the border. So we meet in Chula Vista, San Diego. We basically just got into line with everyone else crossing the border that day. Lots of people do cross the border every day, like several thousand people. So there's lots of different races crossing the border, not just Mexicans. But I think I was the only black person that I saw. But so we make it across the border by foot, and then we go to pick up his car, which was in the parking lot nearby. And then when we're in his car, like, I'm super nervous. I couldn't get Wi-Fi for the longest time, for like a good 10 minutes. I have T-Mobile, so normally when I enter a country I can always have Wi-Fi, but I didn't have it for a minute. And you know, I'm in Tijuana, so I'm freaking out a little bit because every time I heard about Tijuana, all I could think about was, you know, people like, when I think of Tijuana, I think of drugs, going across the border. And every single time I've heard about Mexico being dangerous, people are like, oh, as long as you don't cross the border, you know, as long as you fly in, you'll be good. So yeah, so basically Tijuana in my mind was drugs that people swallow and hold in little baggies. I know it sounds really ignorant, like people use like body bags to cross through the border, but literally that's all I knew about Tijuana, was what I watched on TV. Even though I had solo traveled to Mexico City before. So anyway, so we're driving, and I see the border, the Mexican-American border, and it's huge, it's massive. I didn't think it was that big. And then, you know, he's telling me a lot about it, about people who've tried crossing it, about like there being barbed wire at the bottom, not even at the top, but like at the bottom, and there's this open space. Like I said, I'll have pictures. It's just open space, and then before they can even cross to get to the other side, a guard will come and get them. So it's really, 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 really hard. But anyways, we get to this place called Friendship Park, which has a very famous mural that's drawn on it. So basically it's the border towards the beach, and it has a huge mural that this artist named Enrique Chuy, he basically drew this massive mural basically to kind of remove the grimness of that area, which used to be an area where Mexicans on one side and their families on the other side would come and like meet, and you know, like a few times a year, and like come and see their loved ones. But now it's just like, I don't know how to describe it. Like now they can't meet and embrace anymore. Now it's just like so closed off, where families would come to see each other on each side of the border, and then there would just be these little holes, these little tiny holes that they could peek through. and then they would put their hand through that hole just to touch their loved ones. And it's so sad, but that mural is there just to signify like unity, and it's maintained by like lots of volunteers. So yeah, it's in a really beautiful like part of Tijuana, like near the beach. Yeah, and I saw a few more tourists kind of in that area, but I thought that was really cool, like how it had all the paintings everywhere. And I remember he was showing, like, on the mural, he was explaining how all these people, these men, well, I don't know if it was men or women, but these people from Mexico, like, went and fought for the war, for the U.S., and then they were deported back to Mexico after they had fought, you know, with their lives for the United States. And then that was extra sad, hearing that story. Then we got back into his car, and he took me to the red light district. But basically it's about like 4 blocks or like a whole square where you can see tons of prostitutes all over, like, just, it used to be what was all over Tijuana, but now it's regulated. It's government regulated, so there's no pimps involved. It's just regulated to that specific area. And, you know, as we were driving through, we saw, like, you know, different women, like, blatantly outside offering up their services, and that was interesting. And then after that, he took me to the new Tijuana, which is like this huge gate that you go through, and I think that's in Avenida Revolucion. So yeah, so Avenida Revolucion, that is the area that a lot of people go into. A lot of people who, I think it's pretty common in Southern California for people to cross the border for a weekend and like turn up in Tijuana. So that's kind of the area that they turn up in. Lots of typical stores. I think I even saw a very popular US bank. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, it was just like a regular tourist area with clubs and stuff, and, you know, restaurants. And then I saw like a lot of black people. Well, in comparison to what I thought, I just didn't expect so many black people to be there. So yeah, so when I asked Ricardo about it, he basically told me that all the black people that I see in Tijuana all came up because during the hurricane that happened in Haiti, they had gone down to Brazil, and then someone in Brazil had told them, about 2,500 of them, that if they cross the border into Mexico, they can get asylum in the US. So all these Haitian people traveled all the way up to Mexico, to Tijuana, so that they could interview at the border to get asylum, or refugee status, you know, because of what had happened, the hurricane. And only about 9 or 10 made it through out of 2,500. So because that happened, the Mexican government was like, we have all these Haitians here, like, we might as well just, you know, like, they have nowhere to go. So they gave them like full citizenship, Mexican citizenship, and was like, just go about and get jobs and get employment. And he was telling me that like when the first Haitian Mexican was born, like there was a huge celebration. So I thought that was really amazing, and seeing the black people there, like they were pretty integrated into Mexican culture. Like I saw, you know, Haitian women with Mexican men and Mexican women with Haitian men, and people just going about to work and stuff. So that was cool. And then, oh yeah, and then we went to the place where the Caesar salad was invented. The famous Caesar salad that was invented by, so the Caesar salad was named after the owner, but his chef, who was a Mexican guy, he was the one who actually made it up. It used to be called the pilot's salad. Anyway, so we went to this place, and it was very fancy. They were, I would say it's a little bit upscale. And I had the first original Caesar salad, and it was really great. It looked really simple, but it was really delicious because the sauce is made from scratch. And yeah, I thought that was cool. So, you know, obviously this is all touristy things that I'm doing, but I'm only there for a day. Oh yeah, and like on the Avenida Revolucion, there's like lots of zebras like painted on zebras, because it's like the thing that represents Tijuana. So I did that, and well, I saw that. So after was pretty much my favorite part because we got to go to the market. There, it's a traditional market. It's called Mercado Hidalgo. And so I'm just walking through. He's like showing me different things, and he's done this tour like 1,200 times, so he knows the people there. So everyone's just giving me free food just to try. Like, there was no pressure to buy anything. Like, people just like, here, take this, try this. Like, I was trying different fruits. I had like, first I did like a bunch of exotic fruits, and then I went to the other side and I was having like dried chili mangoes, and I had this amazing, the best dessert I've ever had in Mexico, which is like this coconut tequila cake, but it's not a cake texture. It's like a custard, and it's dry, and I still have a piece of it. Let me see if I can take it out. It's wrapped up still, but I can't find the name of it. But if anyone knows what this is, please tell me, because I'm literally crossing the border again just to buy this. Like, I spent $3 and it was this size. It was bigger than this. And I gave it to my family now that I'm back in New York. And they love it, and I'm just like, shoot, I should have bought more of it. Like, it's so rich and just, it's amazing. So if you're in Mercado Hidalgo, look for that coconut custard. They have tequila and either the rum version or vodka. And then finally, to end the day, we went to Telefonico Gastro Park, and this is like a really hip park. It reminded me of when I was in Mexico City, and we have like these food courts, and then you just order from different places, and people find you, and I think they either give you a number or they find you at your table. So it was like super hip. They are really safe with COVID. Like, you couldn't touch anything. Like, you just put your hand and sanitizer would come out, and then you'd be like disinfected and all this stuff. I thought that was really cool. And it was just really modern and fancy. I liked it a lot. And I had the best taco I've ever had in my entire life. I had this taco called chile relleno. Yeah, I had a chile relleno, and then it was a sweet and savory taste. It was absolutely amazing. Then I had like atún something, so some type of tuna. Shoot, what do you call it? Taco. I had a tuna taco. But anyway, so that was basically my day in Tijuana. I'm absolutely going to go again when I'm in Southern California again. I want to go with someone else so that I can explore deeper into Tijuana, because the areas that we were in were pretty close to the border. So those are all places that you can go, and you can do that yourself with someone else. I definitely love traveling alone, but I don't know, I still don't feel like Tijuana, I could do Tijuana by myself like I did Mexico City, or I'm going to do like Tulum and stuff like that. I would do it like on my third time. I would go by myself. And what else about... Oh yeah, and so overall, Tijuana pretty much looked like what it does in like the TV shows, and the fact that like it's very busy. It has like a grayish overlay. I don't know, that's just it's kind of like grayish looking to me. I don't know why. As a city, it just has darker tones, darker blues and grays and stuff. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know, that's what I noticed. Not as colorful as like Oaxaca or Mexico City and all these places. But yeah, I think you should definitely make the trip to Tijuana. It was so easy crossing the border. It's so normal. A lot of people live in Tijuana and then cross the border to go to work in California. Yeah. But anyways, thank you so much for staying with me and watching this video. If I remember anything else, I'll link it below. But definitely feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and also on my blog now that I'm back making videos again. So Sandra Expeditions on all of those. I'll link them all below. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. You take care.